and welcome to the October 23rd Committee of the Whole meeting. We have one item on the agenda, and that is the Economic Development Update by CED, and I'd like to introduce Vanessa Dolby.
Good evening, Council President, members of the Council. It's my pleasure tonight to introduce our Economic Development Director and Acting Planning Director, Gina Estep and Matt Herrera, who are going to do the presentation this evening.
Thank you, Vanessa. Again, I'm Gina Estep, the Economic Development Director, and tonight I'm happy to be up here with Matt to give the Economic Development Update 2023. So I think I'm in charge of the PowerPoint. Is that right? Okay. So tonight we're going to talk about a number of different things that have been going on since my arrival in January of this year. First, we're going to talk about, I'm going to introduce you to the Economic Development team. And then we're going to walk you through what we've done with developing an economic development action plan. And then Matt is going to go through some site-specific project updates for you. So our economic development team. Well, we have Amanda Free. She's here tonight. She's the assistant director. Amanda is an amazing project manager. She has an eye for detail and a passion for the budget. So she's a great one to have around, especially with the passion with the budget. We love that. John Collum, he is our redevelopment manager. And I like to think of John as an economic developer with an eye on city planning. So he really has a focus on design and placemaking. So when you couple that with economic development, you're able to make a really great space that attracts people. So that's John. Jessie Katarski, she is all things arts and culture, and she's really a person and people connector. So she's invaluable for those skills that she is out there. You've probably all met her. She's out on the street. She is connecting with our businesses, and she's the instrument behind the arts that you see, the murals, the fire hydrants, and many, many other things. Fatimata Katori. She is an asset that I'm really pleased we have. She comes to us with a different perspective. Her past has been working with the Mali Embassy in Washington, D.C., and her focus was economic and trade. So she really, and her passion really is small business. So and I would say she's a super self-starter. So she has really come to us and been an instrument behind starting some of these new initiatives we have. Aaron Raymond, he is our statistical pro. So he's the person that makes sense of all the data that we would like to use to make informed metric decisions, things that are really shored up by the numbers as we move forward with economic development. Stephanie Rari, she is kind of a secret weapon. She is all things when it comes to analyzing development sites and what have you. She has the ability to dig down into the details, figure out what easements, what restrictions, anything that might be a challenge that we may not see right off the bat. So she's been instrumental on when we created our site selection team. She's been very instrumental on that team. Stacy Tucker, planning technician, she's been a broad influence. She has stepped up and helped with our events. She's a great writer, so she's been helping with our newsletter. And she has an actual passion for small business herself. She has a small business knitting company. So her joy is small business. So you can really see that as she kind of inserts herself in areas that she excels and enjoys. And then Lynn is the admin secretary, and I believe Lynn is the glue that keeps all of our stakeholders' interactions and calendars efficient and effective. So Lynn's been a true asset to me and the department or the division. So that's our team. We're a team of 9. We have 1 vacant space that we will be filling soon. All right. So moving forward.
Question. Matt, what is your role?
That is a good point. He's not on.
Thank you, Council President O'Halloran. My role as acting planning director is to implement and hopefully drive home what Jenna brings to us in economic development, really foster that economic development on her side. But I am excited later on in this presentation to show you some of those great pipeline projects and projects underway that economic development helped us start.
Thank you so much.
That's a really good point. Our team, extends much further than just the list there. So thank you
Chair?
for that. Yes.
Before you go on, what is the vacant space that you need to fill?
It's the Senior Economic Development Manager.
Okay.
Specialist. There's
Gotcha.
lots of managers, so it's specialist.
Gotcha.
Okay, so upon my arrival, what I really noticed that I loved about what you've done in Renton is you had a business plan. And that's really unique, I believe, to the way cities function. A lot of them just go based on their comprehensive plan, which is a very long document, very hard to often implement, and really hard to articulate to readers that they don't have the time to read that kind of document. So what we did is we took your business plan, we identified the economic development specific bullet points, and we as a team built an action plan around that. The action plan started with a lot of us were asking, the team has come together in the last 2 years. So the team itself is new, even though the employees have been here for a while. So a lot of them were even asking, well, what is economic development? What is our goal? What's our vision? So that's where we started. We created a vision. And the vision statement for economic development is economic development drives opportunities for economic growth, vitality, job creation, and improved quality of life for Renton's residents, workforce, and business community. So everything this department does should shore and strengthen that element up, that statement, that vision. So moving forward to our action plan, what we did is we created a 4-legged stool. And our goal for that was it's grounded, it's firm, it's on the ground, it's based, and it's got a strong base. This is one of the 4 legs, small and independent businesses. The department or the division established some goals. So what would we be doing to support and to implement and drive economic development for small and independent businesses? So our goals do include to support existing businesses. These are the businesses that are most fragile and they need the most amount of support. Create startup opportunities for new businesses to come here. That's your pitch. You saw that happen this year. There's many other things from our food truck festival that invites these small we consider a small independent business 5 employees or less. Actively recruit small businesses. We want Renton to be diverse with small business opportunity. I think that is one of the businesses of the future, especially with online shopping going pretty big business. Small independent is what will bring people to town, to a city, something unique. And then what we want to do is we want to increase Renton's small and independent business opportunity or economic vitality through measured data. So something that we can start measuring how we see their success. Is it new businesses, square footage, vacancy, these kind of metrics. And this is all part of what we'll be working on, creating those metrics that we can start really analyzing our success in the future. So some of the accomplishments we've had this year on this leg of the stool is we started identifying barriers and implementing solutions to the barriers for entry for small businesses. One was as simple as it's hard to get a business license for a one-day event, but you need one. And it's just as hard to get one for a one-day event as it is for a brick and mortar year-round. So we got to, those are things we could look to improve upon. Sign permits, things that small businesses need, and they kind of maybe need quickly, or they don't quite think about, and the next thing you know, they're in this long, drawn out process where they actually just need to start moving. So we're looking at those barriers. We created a small business liaison position, and that is Fatimata. So our goal there wasn't to create this liaison with a very prescriptive agenda. What we're doing with this position is Fatimata is charged with meeting with any potential small business that would like to expand or locate here, do kind of inventory with them and assessment of what they need. And then we're going to build a support structure for that business around their specific needs. So we're trying to do this not one size fits all type approach. Again, we're trying to develop a comprehensive list of resources. That's always something that should be able to be handed out right away. Fostering our key partnerships with the Chamber, the Downtown Partnership, and many, many more. And that list grows every day. We want to continue to partner with, we did the pitch competition, which I believe all of you were there and saw, and that was really an exciting effort. And then one thing that we found quite successful, and it was really launched and put together within just a month, was the food truck festival that coupled coupled with the wine walk. And I don't know if you who went out to that food truck festival, but with the music, that Big Five lot was activated and busy, and it was really a helpful tool to see what that space could look like in the future. We are continuing to partner with the Port of Seattle, which has some great grants, some great opportunities, and then our partnerships with One East Side and Startup 425. We also just secured a contract with a company called Placer AI. And Placer AI is, we're going to learn a lot about it because we literally did this last week. But basically, it will allow us, it helps us analyze foot traffic, and it can inform us on how to better market our businesses, what businesses are really seeing a lot of foot traffic and therefore need some potential growth or expansion, or what we could recruit in the future based on patterns of people's behaviors. So we're really excited about working with that contract and seeing what we could do with that. If there's any questions, feel free to ask me, or I can just keep moving along. Okay, so the next leg of the stool was medium and large businesses. This one is a different animal. It's definitely a little more time consuming in the realm of making the relationships, contacts, a lot more out-of-state outreach, in-state outreach. But the goals that we've identified for this leg of the stool is, first, we really needed to identify Renton's needs, opportunities, and our economic development tools to accomplish what we want to. And some other states have a lot more tools than Washington State. So having a really strong understanding of what those tools are is important. We want to actively recruit businesses and employers that address our needs and strengthen our opportunities. So basically working off what is informed on the top bullet. And then we wanted to identify the desired clusters that we want to focus on. I believe you can't be the jack of all trades and a master of none. You do need some focus. So when I look at Renton's clusters, I see, and when I say I'm talking about our department, so sorry about that. I feel we see healthcare, We see the emerging sport and what I call experiential tourism with the Sounders and the Seahawks and some of this big sport name coming into Renton. And we have aerospace. And so going beyond those is our next step. So, I would love to have more information from any of you if you feel there's a cluster that is really important to focus on as we move to the future and recruit larger big business. And then again, it's important to track our efforts with measurable data. And so this is all part of what we're going to be creating in the next phase, is looking at what measurable data would be helpful. Is it assessed valuation, job growth, and how can we track those? So you'll see more hopefully next year on what we've done there. So accomplishments, we've started to identify and understand the opportunity sites that we have in our city to promote to any middle-sized or large business. We created a site identification team. So for example, if we wanted to be nimble. So if a business comes to Renton and says, we're looking for 10,000 square feet, we need it flat, we need X amount of power, we need whatever their needs are, we have now a team that can quickly take that and identify the sites that would fit for that entity and get that information back to them within, I think we've been on average, this has happened 3 or 4 times now, about a week turn in some pretty good information back to the businesses, which is good. We've been proactively meeting with desired developers, investors, employers. So we're really trying to take a proactive approach for us coming to them, not vice versa. And then again, focus our efforts on the desired industry clusters that we still need to nail down and identify. Okay, so the next leg of the stool is economic centers. We identified, I believe there's 6 economic centers. We identified downtown, Sunset Highlands, Benson Hill, Rainier and Grady, Long Acres in the Valley, and north, we call it North City, but basically north of downtown all the way up to Kennydale. So basically everything north of downtown. And within each one of those centers, we have different goals. And I won't go through all of them because you can read, obviously, the PowerPoint. But, downtown, we're really trying to create a heart where people are, it is, from outsiders' perspective, what they see Renton to be. We want to do this. We want to build out our civic core plan. And we want to partner with bold, identity-forming partner investors. So if we ever do a public-private partnership, it really needs to be one of those strong identity-forming investors that will elevate us. Benson Hill, we are looking to build upon the natural diversity that Renton has, and that neighborhood has an amazing amount of diversity in business, small businesses. So one thing we're kicking off in the next couple months is Fatimata is going to do a small business think tank, and we're going to do it neighborhood specific, and we're going to start in Benson and basically try to start bringing those Benson businesses together and having an open conversation about what their needs are, what their struggles are, how we can help them, and start that communication with them in the upcoming months. I'll just talk about Rainier Grady. That to me is a gateway key piece, and partnering with Sound Transit in a way that really creates a gateway where you get off the freeway at that part of town and you feel you have arrived somewhere special is, I think, a very key element of that center. And of course, Long Acres with the Sounders corporate headquarters and practice facility there. We are going to support that entity and Unico in finding top tier investors and partners to locate there and really create a a destination for Renton. And I think this destination could be beyond the region. It could be as significant as bringing out-of-state tourism to Renton. Okay, some of our accomplishments so far in downtown. I'll just be quick because I think I might be talking a long time. I'll focus on, we have, through a grant with the port, we have put a cultural arts center into one of the vacant spaces in the garage to activate that space. Black River Cultural Arts Center. Amanda worked hard to go out for $1.5 million grant for the pavilion and $1.485 million for the public square. So we're kind of rocking and rolling with some good grant money to kickstart some of that work. The department's really trying to drive progress on the pavilion and the food hall. The downtown wayfinding, the Renton connector, the Civic Core Heart Block, and the Arts and Culture Master Plan. Let's see here. Is there anything else I want to note? Of course, you're all aware of the infrastructure improvements on Williams and Burnett. And I think that's all for that slide. Sunset, Highlands, Benson Hill, and north of downtown. We're just in our beginning phases on activating our work for these economic centers. I think the most important thing I already mentioned, it was that program we're going to initiate by trying to bring those businesses together in that think tank format and really start engaging with the businesses that aren't in our downtown. Okay. Rainier Grady accomplishments. Definitely been working with a lot of the stakeholders, Unico, Sounders, Blue Origin, our Dick's, not Dick's Sporting Good, but Dick's Hamburger, just to really try to bring home iconic brands, Pacific Northwest iconic brands. And again, Sound Transit, working with them to create that transit center that we expect and want to see. And then lastly, trying to find a great place for Costco. There's no doubt that would be a win for Renton, and this area is one of the locations we're looking at. We have been digging into tax increment financing opportunities for Longacres, and that's basically a opportunity where it's a financing mechanism where we can build public improvements to help incentivize private development. So that's been underway. Okay. Lastly, our communications and promotion leg of the stool. This one is important to me because I think it's really important to tell your story. And we have been doing a good job, but I think we could do a lot better job in the future. So we did hire a company called Pyramid Communications to do a communications audit of our Why Renton and Visit Renton and our social media sites. So not the city's communication, very different. We have done the audit. They have done, I think they did, well, I know they did a number of interviews with different stakeholders. I'm not sure if any of you were interviewed, but we have been informed and we have now quite a bit of information to start building a strategic communications plan from. So that will be forthcoming in the next year also. Oh, now it's on to Matt.
All right. Thank you, Jenna. Thank you, President O'Halloran. City Council. Again, my name is Matt Herrera. I'm the Planning Director in CED's Planning Division. And thank you so much for the opportunity to showcase some of the projects that the Planning Division is working on right now. We've got about a dozen projects to show you tonight. Half are pipeline projects. Those are projects that are just about to go through the land use entitlement phase, or we're currently reviewing or just completed. And then we've got projects that are under construction that you see around town. So We'll start with our first pipeline project, which is called Camellia Court. This is an application that actually just came in this month. This is for the redevelopment of